Thank you, Rani, again. That was humble, simple, able, noble Dr. Joshi. We sit on every Saturdays together. An amazing personality. I love that speech. Yes, the 20 minutes was not just enough, but due to our limitation, we can't give more than 20 minutes. Thank you, sir. Now, my opportunity to introduce my another great personality, young, dynamic, and vibrant Dr. Judy Thomas. Judy Thomas is a business coach based in Dubai. He has done his MBA and PhD in management. He's a professional recognized and certified by the Institute of Chartered Shipbrokers, UK. He's a visiting professor for universities in Dubai. It was a good decision, Dr. Juby, to review one of Nantini Vaidyanathan's book. Nantini is a traveling teacher who teaches entrepreneurships in several Ivy League business schools around the world, including Princeton, London School of Economics, and National University of Singapore, overseas and in India. Judy Thomas is greatly respected by his friends and colleagues. He's going to unfold an amazing book on startup stand-up. The book is written by Nandini Vaidyanath again. I'm happy that Judy has selected a book written by Nandini Vaidyanath. Friends, help me in welcoming another great gentleman, Dr. Judy Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Anil, for the great introduction. This is my great privilege coming to this community, and I'm thanking the entire community members for giving me this opportunity to come and share this book review with you. And in fact, Mr. Anil has introduced the author of the book, but from my side, I'm just giving some more details about this author. This Nantini Vaidyanathan, she born and brought up in Karnataka in south part of India. She has done her post-graduation in economics from Delhi School of Economics. After that, she got an opportunity to do her pre-post doctoral studies from London School of Economics. And this is years back, almost a couple of decades back. Immediately after her pre-doctoral study, she got some career with the multinational company. And she was in the consultancy area, so she started to travel across the world because she was advising to some subsidiary units of United Nations. The organization's name is She Trade, etc. And I think you must be aware that the She Trade is doing a lot of women empowerment across the globe, largely into the developing countries or least developed countries. Asian countries and the part of Africans and all. So she got a great opportunity as a part of this team. She widely traveled all these places. And due to some domiciliary issues in the year 2005, she came back to Bangalore. Then she found that she wanted to be there in Bangalore with her family. So she started to work as a faculty with the Ivy League associated colleges in India. IIMs and IITs are there. And again, she started to travel to other Ivy League colleges. And she got a great expertise in mentoring more than 2,000 organizations during this period. So what she found is that entrepreneurship is actually the word which is coming up the world, and more countries are, or more and more people are accepting this entrepreneurship as a career choice. So at the same time, she found that none of these universities or education institutes are offering a core program in entrepreneurship. People are teaching the STEM education or the arts education or the commerce education, but where the culmination of all this knowledge are coming or needed in terms of entrepreneurship, where none of these universities or mainstream education institutes are offering this program. So there was a big gap available, not only in India, across actually the world. So she was seriously thinking, why can't she do her own contribution in order to make this filling the gaps over there. So that is how she started her own consultancy based out of Bangalore, which is called Karma. Karma stands for creating access for resources and management. So what she was doing is that she go to each and every individual or a group of people who wanted to do the entrepreneurship, and she said that, okay, I will allow to access to all types of resources, whatever is required for your uplifting of or enriching of your entrepreneurship career or the journey. And at the same time, she was connected with a lot of people over there. So she was just giving this access of all types of resources and the markets she was actually doing. Especially since she got a lot of acquaintance with the world markets, she was acting as a bridge to connect to these local or tier 2 cities entrepreneurs to the world markets over there. So this Karma, almost 15 years she was working very greatly. And the year 2014, she has started a digital magazine, which is called Caterpillar, where she has allowed all the entrepreneurs or the people who are thinking entrepreneurship to come and share their not only challenges, but the frugal solutions and how the society is looking after them to form an ecosystem which is very conducive for the entrepreneurship program. So she wrote 3 books. The first book she wrote was again actually on the entrepreneurship, which is called Entrep Idea. And this Entrep Idea was basically a book which is giving from the ideation to startup of a company. If any individual got an idea in their head, and if they wanted to convert this idea into a typical business, which are the steps they have to follow. So she just made, or she explained these books, and this book was well accepted in the industry. And some people have just given the review that this book is known as the Bible for starting up a company. So anybody in this group who are actually really keeping this entrepreneurship as their career choice, or wanted to start actually any entrepreneurship on the later stage also, I highly recommend this book. We can just go and grab this book where she's illustrating all this chapter wise over there. And her second book was actually today's review book. And this book is Startup and Stand Up. And this book, what she was talking about is that if anybody start a company already, or those people are already actually on the running of a company and not doing this company well, then how you can scale up this company and make it success over there. So when she say you start up already, and how you can stand up in your own way, and how you can be fully secured financially as well as your organizational goals in that way. And this is not only for the startups companies. I found that there are a lot of points what she has explained is very greatly acceptable to a lot of running organizations that we are actually part of. Either we are working or we are on actually this part of the world. So this is very beautiful book. And this book is consists of 20 pages, 20 chapters. And each chapters she has given the name as sutras. And sutra, because she said that these are the sutras you can just apply whenever you just come across these types of different situations over there. And when I just read this book a couple of years back, I found that this Nandini is holding our hand and taking this person or the entrepreneur to the market and showing exactly what is happening in the market in and around now. It is not only actually on the product side or the service side. She's explaining 360-degree completely what exactly you can see in the market. And the more interesting point what I found is that when you go to the market, when you see that, oh, there is a great or a superior product is happening, there is an, great services are happening, great way of success is happening, the organization, she's always also talking about actually what is the story behind the curtain also. And that is actually getting me more interesting, because then we come to know that, oh, this is actually the reason why this company is getting so success. Oh, this is what is the reason actually why these people are actually getting a very fast growth rate over there. So these two things actually I found is very, very illustrating and interesting, that you get a feeling that she is actually a companion taking us to all those points. And she's asking the question as if that, we are asking a question standing in front of a mirror and say that, is it this what is actually happening inside the organization? Is it the right way that I should do actually the organization? Oh, if I am come across with some types of issues, then what should or which way I have to think on that way? So this is very, very illustrating books over there. So out of these 20 chapters, as a time constraint, I'm just going for a couple of chapters. The first chapter, what she is actually talking about is that how you can select your first customer. This is very interesting point. Even I also remember that how difficult it is when it is coming to a realization of okay, you start up a company and where exactly you can go and meet your first customer and engage. That means you got a great idea, and that idea you convert as a business model, and you just validate your product or service, and you are very excited, and you say that this is $1 billion idea. And when you go to a customer and the customer is not giving any interest to you, customer is saying that, oh shit, I heard actually this product, come on. So unless no one is actually paying you commercially, your ideas are not getting validated here. So she's saying that how you can choose actually your first customer in the market. And she's actually sharing the real fear that many of us are also facing actually in an entrepreneurship stage. The first thing is that when you go to first customer, our normally what we do is that we go and find out a customer from our own friends area, or we go and find out a customer, we call it as a low-hanging fruit area. Those areas that we are familiar, those areas where you are getting acceptance and etc. So what she is telling is that that is actually a wrong idea actually. Actually, you have to go to an unknown market. You have to fight for that one. Then only you can do the right introduction and you talk about your product. You throw your product or services in order to make them understand, make them convince and see that there is a value proposition is happening for your product and someone is ready to pay a commercial value for that one, where your success is actually starting on this one. So this is a way she is greatly explaining about how you are choosing your customer in that area. Should I go to a niche market or should I go to a mass market? Should I go to a familiar market or should I go to an unfamiliar market? Or should I go to a premium market or should I go to an undervalued market? So there are so many questions she is asking, and all these questions that an entrepreneur is asking himself or herself and get actually answered for that one, which is narrowed down as a sales tunnel. How it works, it is narrowed down. Ultimately, you are pinpointing and say that, okay, this is actually the customer, or this is exactly the place where I can go and try out or I can sell out my product. So from actually first chapter, when we go to the fourth chapter, very interestingly, she says that every business need, or every entrepreneur need mentors, not mentor, but mentors. The reason is that when we talk about actually the mentors, we think that mentors are the people, they are the jack of all the trade. I can explain everything and they can easily find out a solution for all our troubles. But realistically, the mentors are people like us. They got actually some more experience compared to us, or they must have traveled more ways actually compared to us. So those actually mentors will have some types of expertise. If any mentor is coming us and say that, okay, I can solve out all the problem, or I can advise all your business problem, always you remember that that is actually a wrong this one. So this is actually our duty to find out the right mentor for our right issues. So she was talking about when you are coming out with a product, that is actually the pre-launching of a product, to whom you have to approach for this one. And once you launch the product, to whom you have to approach for that one. And when you are scaling up your company, to whom you have to approach for that one. And finally, you are structuring your organization after a first level of success, then how you have to choose actually the mentors. And when we are talking about the mentoring or selecting the mentors, we are always talking about actually who should be our mentor, which way a mentor should react to us and all. We never think ourselves. And Nandini is explaining that she come across with a lot more than 2,000 entrepreneurs. And what she found is that a lot of entrepreneurs are very stubborn people. They got actually the fire in their belly, but when they come to the attitude issue, they're facing a lot of attitude issue. They say that, no, my idea is the greatest idea in the world, and my product is a superior product in the world. They're never going to accept anything from the mentors there. So she says that what are the characteristics or what are the traits we can look for identifying a mentor at the same time. She says that you have to keep a mirror in front of you and you have to ask yourself that what is your attitude towards a mentor also. This is also very important when you are going for working with a mentor, or how actually the successful mentorship is working across. And when we move the chapter 12 is very interesting. She says that at the time of scaling up the organization, when your organization grows, you need a lot of resources. So whatever the resources that you have or your group has, you are actually already exhausted on this one. Now you have more ambitious plans, and you got a message from the market that your product and services are getting accepted, and this is actually the time you can just go for a run. So that is a time you are looking for more resources to the organization. So you are looking for the investors. So she says that what exactly the investors are looking at your organization. When an investor comes, what are the points they are actually looking at your organization? And this is very interesting. Being an entrepreneur, if I understand that, or these are the way that I am getting evaluated, so those are the points I can look actually comfortably and make it clean. So one, actually she is saying that the investors are always looking for what exactly the cost of the new customer acquisition. When you are actually growing up from one market to other market, you are scaling up globally or regionally, you need more and more actually the new customer acquisition is happening. So what exactly the cost you are paying for that one? And second, actually they are saying is that what exactly your scale of growth, what is happening, what rate you are growing over there. Are you growing at 10%? Are you growing at 20%? Or are you growing at 100% or more than that one? The third, actually, the investors are looking at what is actually the winning team. How many people are working for you, and what exactly the synergy, what exactly your expertise, and how blended you are, and what your motivation level. So what exactly the investment they are getting into? And when we are talking about return of investment, this is very, very tricky. Always you have to understand that when you are investing some amount in the bank, say, let us say the banks are giving 7% or 8% interest to the investors. And what the bank is doing, bank take that money and they are actually lending that money to the normal business, which is running business. And they are actually taking a spread of that one. That is called interest spread. So normally banks are taking 4 to 5 percentage of interest spread. And so 7 plus 5%, we can say that the banks are lending this money to the running business around 11% or 12% to the running business. But when they go to the running business, the bank asks a question that, okay, how many years your business is there? You tell us your, or you show us your documents, KYC documents were last year's performance and everything. Or sometimes they will ask for some collateral also. This is exactly the typical time of lending. But when it comes to the investment in the startup company, the investors start taking a huge risk over there because these are the new companies. There is no actually previous data are available. There is no collateral is available. So the investors, when they are coming over there, when they are taking a huge risk, always Nandini says that always you remember that the expectation of return is also very, very high. They are very hungry, or they are expecting nothing less than actually 30% or even 50% more. They are looking for the valuation. They are looking for the fast growth. And also always you have to see that when you do a presentation, and in your presentation, you beautifully say that, okay, the return of investment, you can expect 20% or 25%. They wouldn't actually turn back over this. They simply will go there. And finally says that the investors are always look for actually how much appetite you have to take the risk on this one. Being an entrepreneur, how much you are actually risk acceptable and risk mitigation method using actually on the business over there. And the last chapter, when you are reaching the last she said, okay, all this 19 chapters, 19, and she said that now the ultimate things are just because unless you are not executing anything, you are not going to get any results, whether it is true or false, or whether it is success or failure. So that once that result comes only, then you are able to evaluate that results and you can go for a remedial action. So any entrepreneur, unless they are not actually executing this action, they are not going to reach anywhere at all. They are always actually hanging out the other places. So she says that, okay, don't actually go for
the network's taking a toll there in India.
He's in Dubai.
Judy's in Dubai.
I think we lost him then.
We lost him.
Yeah, very.
Judy sir, yeah.
Rejoin.
Okay, we can't hear.
No.
I think we can just message.
Judy sir, we are just losing you.
Strongly happen.
We couldn't hear you for last couple of minutes.
I think he did get disconnected.
Yes. Okay, let's wait for him, guys. It's fine. Technological issues are always there.
Imagine we were expecting the first speaker to get disconnected because of the rains, and okay, happens. In the meantime, Santosh, could you, if it's going to take him time, we could actually introduce the next week's speaker. So it will, save us much time.
Sure.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Could you just share the slide?
Then can you see?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead. So
we will wait for Judy Thomas
Yep.
to come back and finish his review. And next week, we have two more interesting speakers. We have Shandilya Adipuri, who is going to do an amazing book called Yes, Minister. And we have an audio producer, Ejiro Osakede, who is from Nigeria, and she is going to do a book called Fortify. So do come and join in next week as well. And we're hoping to keep getting more and more speakers, more diverse speakers from around the world, and authors who can speak on this platform and help us at least understand two books, because we're living in a world where we don't have time for even one book. So this is very interesting. Do we have Judy back on?
No, not yet.
Okay, so in the meantime, this is the team, the eBookery team that works together to make sure every Saturday we can put up a show.